not too many. If you were able to whisper into his ear, how would you like to see him develop points out here?
I don't think it was Jarry's best day, the third round of the US Open this year when he played Alex de Minaur, but de Minaur almost showed us the blueprint of how to play Jarry on a reasonably fast hard court. And Demon, of course, has a great ability to shave across the ball, doesn't hit with a lot of topspin. Everything was kind of knee height or below for Jarry, and he really didn't enjoy it. But you talk about Diaz spending some time in Spain, and that's not really the trajectory of his shots, even though he's not particularly tall. So I think it's just going to be a tough assignment. He's almost got to hope. I feel like it's a tough situation given that he doesn't have the pedigree to be playing a guy 19 in the world. It's almost like he's just got to hang on to his serve, get a bit of scoreboard pressure, 1-all, 2-all, 3-all, and try to feel like he's in the match and hopefully catch Jarry. Maybe, I'm not saying underdone, but early in the season, be competitive.
Yeah, a big part of him holding his serve. He doesn't have a bad serve, but he's that first serve percentage he's going to need to be high. Jarry steps in on that second serve, puts a lot of pressure on his opponent. So if he can get that first serve going, as you see, he's got some nice pop, and that one having some nice slider out wide, really moving off this court.
Yes.
Yeah, these are the conditions that certainly suit Jarry's game.
Advantage, Team Canada.
Yeah, that's one thing I'd like to see Diaz do, is just mix up the play. He's got that really Western grip on his forehand. If he can just get some high ones going and Jarry's backhand side mix things up, because if he tries to stay in and hit with Jarry, he's going to be, like you said, he's going to be under a lot of pressure. A lot of power coming at him.
Game, Team Canada.
Yeah, he's done well to get out of that particular game and secures himself at least the first hold of his serve. As we see Felix there, who's unable to play because of that knee injury, something that has been a bit problematic for him. A little bit of illness last year as well that bothered him around the French Open. And the tour certainly desperate to have him back playing the sort of charismatic tennis that we know he's capable of.
Stevie.
Ranking-wise for Diaz, his best win coming against Jeremy Chardy back in Cherbourg in a Challenger in 2017. Frenchman ranked 66 in the world. He has 8 top 100 wins. Wasn't without its drama as well, that win over Chardy back in France. Saved 3 match points from 40-love down on his serve in the second set. Managed to pull it out 7-6 in the final set.
That's it. Game team
Sweetly
Canada.
done. And a nice hold to love. 2-1 opening set.
Team Chile leads 2-1.
Está genial, o sea, está sacando un huevo, estando un huevo, igual un poco de atención al que tiene más natural el cortadito, normalmente te vendrá más abierto y a la ten la ventaja, y te puede venir al cuerpo también con esa forma de saque alguna, pero lamentablemente irá por ahí, y está genial, o sea, la derecha que se te ha escapado y el último revés, o sea, luego iba, o sea, hay que seguir igual idéntico, está perfecto.
Pensando siempre en que puedes levantar el nivel.
There's a bit of concise information being passed on, but nothing too dramatic after the opening 3 games. He was within touching distance already of getting a break in that opening service game of Steven Diaz's. He'll be looking to try and push forward here. Tough to see on the eye test, but it certainly looks as though Diaz, as I say, who picked up a contract with Head in August of this year, looks like he's playing with the longer racket. Doesn't quite know whether it's an inch or 2-inch longer racket. And that would be one reason why he's been able to get some significant pace on his serve in the opening game. I imagine that wasn't something that you needed to mess around with too much, Mark.
No,
having a longer racket. You had enough pace.
I had some pace. I'm not sure if we had. Did we have options back then to have an inch longer racket?
I think towards the back end of it, you would have done, yes.
Okay, yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, that would have kind of been a little weird as far as timing-wise. Would have changed everything.
Tougher on the volleys. It feels like it blocks you a little bit.
I think so. I think back in the day, the guy, the French guy, can't, 2 hands off both sides.
Santoro?
Santoro, I can't believe I've lost it. I forgot his name, but Santoro, yeah, had 1 to 2 inches longer than he played with, but my God, was that guy talented. It was a nightmare to play against.
Thirty, 15.
It's been an excellent start on serve for the Canadian in terms of first serves in, particularly at the pace that he's delivering them at. 83% of them have found their target.
Let's first serve. 40, 13.
A little worrying for Diaz that that one has gone through the court as quickly as it has. It looked as though it was a fairly safe location through the middle of the court with Jarry that far behind the baseline. But that was a comfortable winner.
Yes.
Maybe an inside the baseline, but never a great time necessarily to play the drop shot. The opponent sees that you've got the one hand off the racket and it's that low that they can just cheat forward inside the baseline to cover the drop shot. You're never going to hit it hard enough to beat them from pace there. Good location off the ball from Jarry.
Advantage Team Canada.
Jarry's still feeling out the ball a little bit. You know, he's missing shots he doesn't normally miss, just a little bit long or hitting the tape. But yeah, it was definitely an opportunity lost for him and a gift for Diaz. Game point.
Let's person.
Oh, that's unlucky. Almost a fabulous volley.
Team Chile is requesting a
Well,
review
Masur courtside with the Chilean captain.
Two games on.
Well, you can see while he's there, he's being respectful as ever before he hustles in.
Jaime, sorry to interrupt, El Capitan. This
you wouldn't interrupt me, no.
a proud moment for you, team captain for Chile, and your grandson is playing.
Yes.
Amazing.
It is amazing. In Sydney, the United Cup
Doesn't get any better.
It can't get any better, no.
Not the opponent you expected today, and he's started off pretty well, eh, Diaz?
Well, Steven Diez is a Spanish sort of descent or even a style of play. He will run, he will cover, he will not make mistakes. It's going to be tough to beat him. The score might be maybe in favor of Nicolas, I would think, but and it's not going to be easy. The way they play, the way they understand the game, these Spanish guys are tough.
Yeah.
Canadian, Spanish.
Well, he spent a lot of time in Spain, that's
Yes, yes. And Wally, how are you doing?
Well, I'm doing
great.
I'm doing
You're
pretty
looking
well.
great.
Not as good as you, but look, I'm curious.
15.
Been an amazing year, 2023 for Nicolas, 19 in the world. You think he can get past your career high ranking of 14 in 2024?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. If it's not this year, it'll be 25. I think that because this year he's been improving, and he knows that there is room for improvement, and he knows how he's starting to understand what he needs to do to get that. And so I think, I mean, things become very tough at the top 20. I mean, they're tough all the time, but just to move a couple of spots
50.
at this level is not easy. But I think he can do it.
Yeah, it's interesting. He's obviously very good on clay, but he has a good ability to move forward. He's not afraid to volley. I mean, that makes him a pretty complete player on any surface.
Yes, I think he spent maybe a little too much time on the clay. I think this opportunity of a better ranking, getting into the top tournaments. The fact that he's won a few matches in Grand Slam events, which he hadn't done before, is giving him confidence. I mean, I would like him to see more serve and volley, mix it up a little bit more. But I think that's one of the things that he likes to do too.
Interesting. Well, Jaime,
I am an admirer of Aussie tennis, so
40-13.
my memories are always of all you guys.
well, Jaime, we're a big admirer of you. Fantastic to have you here, and we certainly wish Team Chile and, of course, your grandson all the best.
Thank you very much, Wally. Take care.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you.
Very nice touch, and that human touch and family touch.
What
a gentleman he is, Petch. I mean, great listening to him, and I love what he said. I'd love to see him serve and volley more. Couldn't agree with him. He definitely has the game to be able to mix that up, and I believe he's got good technique on the volleys, and with his height, you know, and the way he can cover the net, it definitely put pressure on his opponents. It could be that little bit of extra. Get him to get him towards the top 10 because he's got the game. Petch, what do you think?
Yeah, I think serving and volleying with a big serve is an interesting one, and it's a good debate to have because with the way that everyone's returning these days, putting it in at 200 k's an hour plus, how easy is it to get yourself close enough to the net to have easy volleys all the time? What is the magic number for a lot of players to serve and volley behind in the modern game?
Right, I hear what you're saying, but when you've got that weapon like that, and I'm not saying become a serve volleyer.
No.
Sit in, add it on, and you know, maybe use it in times when you're 40 love up, 40-15 up, so you don't put that pressure on you. But as you gain that, you know, that confidence on it, then you can maybe put in a little bit more on the big points. But like you said, when you're serving that big, you don't have too much time to get in, right? Especially if they can block it back.
Game Team Chile.
Decent challenge on Jarry's serve from the Canadian, but so far so good for both players. No breaks in the opening 5 games.
3 games to 2.
Bien, Nico. Está bien. Te falta todavía calentar los huesos un poquitito más. Porque todas las jugadas tuyas han estado bien. Todas. Eso es buena señal. Mantener eso, mantener el uplifting. Muy bien.
I imagine there wasn't too much anxiety on that particular bench, just waiting his time. And forehand has been a little suboptimal so far for Jarry in some of the more sort of crucial moments on the returning games, and that will significantly improve, you feel, as this match goes on.
Yeah, he loves, he hits through the ball beautifully. Not a lot of shape on the ball. But he's a natural hitter of the ball, and he's missing right now, like I said, just the top of the tape, and he'll work that out. But at times, you would like to maybe see a little bit of shape on the ball, especially back in the baseline.
Te pongo el basurero más acá. Para no trabajar tanto en el cambio de lado.
95 match wins on tour for Jarry. He's just that 5 away from picking up a century of wins. Of course, spent a considerable amount of time away because of the contaminated vitamins. Just a couple of wins on tour for Steven Diez, and one of those was a retirement against Bernie Tomic. He was a set 4-1 up when the Australian pulled the ripcord on that, and the other one was against Carl Edmund in his home Masters 1000 back in 2016. 3-set win over Carl on that particular day.
Petch, if I might just add, it was great for me to speak to Jaime. He's one of nature's gentlemen, you know, tremendous fellow and an awesome player, number 14 in the world. But I don't know the exact facts, but he was absolutely instrumental in developing the ATP pension plan. He was right there, sort of initiating that program and building that program. And for a lot of players of yesteryear, it matters. Real statesman.
15. Thirty, 15.
Still doing a great job of keeping his second serve pretty invisible out here at the moment, is the Canadian. 80% of his first serves finding their target.
Video.
Here we go, Diaz. His service action, nice simple service action. Nothing too complicated. I like the ball toss. Using a lot of his legs to jump into that serve and finishing nicely into the court. Does a good job. Solid serve pitch. What do you think?
Yep. Well, we were talking last night about sort of one-handed backhands and double-handed backhands and what you would teach a kid as they're coming through these days. When you look at serves, of course, we've got two different types of serves these days, with the pinpoint serve, where you see Diaz moving his back foot forward to the left foot, or the potential platform serve, which a lot of players are using right now. What's your take?
Oh, the serve is a very personal thing. I wouldn't get too much into it, but if I had to teach someone, a kid from scratch, I mean, I had the pin serve. I think you did as well, right? Our feet came together and then we jumped into the serve. But I think I'd give them both options to see what they felt was more comfortable for them. You know, it doesn't matter as long as you use your legs and you're extending up into the serve and you're using your bottom and your upper body together to get that power. I think whatever is comfortable for you is best. You know, I think the magic happens after that. You know, with acceleration, the racket head, what do you do after that? I feel like that's where is a secret sauce where you can get a little bit more. Wow, what a point that was. Jarry opening up the court beautifully, but I was surprised he went for that top spin volley. That was almost It was too low. You know, he's got good technique. All he needed to do was just punch that one down the line behind his opponent. But what a great effort from Diaz. Fantastic moving, made him play. Came up with that point.
Game Team Canada.
Another gritty hold. Circling back to that thought about the serve, what do you think? Well, you're still coaching players out there?
Yeah, I'm. You know, obviously, you know, we got Flip up there in the commentary booth who had a tremendous serve. You know, one of the best serves of the day, and he brought the back foot. But I'm almost inclined, and I do work with some younger players, I'm almost inclined to go with the platform, just less moving parts, easier for them to kind of connect the ball toss with the movement of the body and the leg drive. Yeah, I'd probably lean towards platform, but as Mark said, there's a preference to it, and maybe some players will go the other way.
You know, what's interesting is it actually had Sinner, who the last few months as his Jarry serve. Look at that body extension, using every inch of his frame. I think he has definitely one of the biggest serves in the game. Sinner, you know, has been working on getting his feet together and pushing off, and all credit, you know, to him. He stuck to it, and I think he has improved that serve. I think he's got a little bit more pop on the serve. It's coming off the court more, jumping into a little better, and he's just you can see how good he's looking, but I love the fact that he wasn't scared to look to improve, to change something.
Game Team Chile. New balls, please.
Put all of his investment and hard work Diaz into hanging on to his own serve. Didn't have an awful lot left for the Chileans, and it is 4-3 to Jarry in the opening set. Yeah, one of those kind of cliches in tennis is that once you get to a certain age, you can't change anything. Going back to what you said about Sinner, it was interesting. That was actually one of the things that came out of his loss at Roland Garros, wasn't it? He did go, as you say, to the platform serve, and that was just prior to Rome. He's actually probably had the greatest benefit out of changing his motion more than anything else in terms of how he's actually serving these days, Mark, compared to that. But after that loss to Altmaier early on at the French Open, he saw an opportunity to go to work on the serve and went back to his pinpoint. He didn't like the rhythm of the platform serve compared to what he felt with the pinpoint. It is, as you say, it's very player specific.
It is. Look, there's a plus and minus to everything. Wally's right. You know, when you set your legs there, there's less to think about. It's more simple. But when you go to the pinpoint, you start off and your body's rotating backwards, and then he comes into it, and he's stepping in and he's jumping, you're kind of exploding into the serve. And I do love that momentum, the way it rocks, and then, like I said, then you're using that momentum to get that power. But there's been amazing servers in the world, and continues to be that have complete different styles, and that's one thing I love about the game. You know, everyone brings in their own style, and it looks beautiful, and whatever works. But
played a multitude of sports growing up. Jarry played soccer, he played hockey over in the US when he was there. He was in New Hampshire. He was actually in Concord, New Hampshire, while his father was completing a master's program in intellectual property. Tennis was always the main thread that was in his life as a sport.
Got to take your hat off to Diaz. I mean, it's a massive step up in class for him compared to where he's been over the last year and a half. But Jaime sort of touched on it. You know, if you play a lot of tennis in Spain, you're going to compete, you're going to be physically prepared, and you're going to make a lot of balls. And he's done that so far, so credit to him.
Considering he's lost his last 10 matches to players inside the world's top 100, his last top 100 win coming against Radu Albot in the Rome Masters in qualies all the way back in the autumn of 2020 when the tour kind of got back underway.
I was just starting to think a couple of moments ago how nice it was for Diaz to be up 40-love and have a comfortable hold, because he's really struggling, and now it's that pressure's back on at 40-30 with that miss-hit forehand at 40-love. Just like that, back to deuce.
Isn't that just the way, though? At 40-love, he probably breathed a sigh of relief, as you said. Well, finally, an easy service game.
Come on.
Shank forehand, overcooked that particular backhand, and here he is now under pressure.
Again, another gift from Jarry there, having a bunch of opportunities at deuce, 30 all. Second serves that he runs around that he normally hit with his eyes closed. He overcooked that one. Doesn't need to be that good, does it, Pitch? Like, doesn't need, he's so strong, it doesn't need to be next to the lines.
Yeah, not today. It doesn't need to be that good. There's other players out there on the tour when he's trying to get more elite scalps, then maybe he needs to up the risk profile on the return. First double and self-inflicted pressure on Team Canada in this game. Sort of point where you'd like to probably see Jarry just edge over a little bit. Don't completely give the out wide serve, but certainly over the lower part of the net, make sure you don't give that one to Diaz and get beaten with that serve.
Yes.
Oh, what a shame. Did the hard work. Great defensive lob to get himself back in the point.
It's funny with his forehand from Jarry. I mean, everything's coming out of the middle. I mean, he's hitting it sweetly, but as you say, maybe just a little too adventurous. I mean, that missing by an inch just doesn't need to be that good.
I mean, it's hard to see from here. It's a better angle for you, Wally, but it doesn't look like he's got that much shape on that forehand side. It's pretty flat, right?
Well, there it is again. Yeah, I mean, it's just taking off on him. And as you said, it's a humid day. We are playing under a roof. There are some gaps, obviously, but it's humid. It's pretty heavy. The balls are heavy, but for some reason, he just can't seem to find the court on the forehand when he needs to.
Great play from Diaz. Having sight to know that his opponent is off court a little bit, sneaking in. Nice forehand volley, nice punch, good technique. And a great effort to hold serve again. Keep himself in this match.
Yeah, he's done a very nice job of tidying things up after a little early, or I should say late spillage in that game in terms of the number of unforced errors. And infuses Team Canada's bench with a little more optimism. That was a time violation, right?
I think it was,
Yeah,
yes.
it was.
15.
It was interesting to hear Jaime say he'd like to see him serve volley more. I'm not convinced that's the way to go, but he did it with aplomb there. Awfully hard to get over the top of Jarry, but that was a nice pickup, low volley around the ankles.
It was more of a serve and survey, wasn't it? He served and then split-stepped on the baseline and then decided to come in. to make bigger tennis courts for serves like this. He averages about 9 aces a match, does Jarry.
He's definitely got the clay court returning position, Diaz. And interestingly, in that previous point, the wide serve to the forehand, his first step was backwards. So a long way back, first step backwards. Very hard to cut off an angle. And you wonder, for a guy with short limbs, short in stature, could he not return a little closer to the baseline?
Game team, Chile.
And once again, perhaps just a little indication for Jarry what he needs to do. Just good solid hitting through the middle of the court could be enough for him. 5-4, first set.
Estás con muy buen nivel, estás haciendo las cosas que tocan, además sí que trabajamos, y lo que estás haciendo bien, estás haciendo un buen partido.
Well, we're not far away from the new year, and of course this is arguably the best city in the world to bring in the New Year's. It is one of the most iconic celebrations that you will see. An estimated 1.5 million people will be watching the fireworks from parts of Sydney Harbour. The fireworks, of course, launched from the Harbour Bridge, and they will illuminate the night skies. Will you be there, Flip?
It's been a while since I've made midnight bed, I don't know. Times have changed, I think.
Can't have changed that much, surely.
Yeah.
Estos últimos 2 puntos, tú no aceleraste todo lo que estabas acelerando.
Been too many fireworks in this one yet.
Lograste que él la fallara. Entonces, no siempre la intención es, porque el otro gallo también se cuelga de tu intención. Por eso que siempre hay que mantener eso mismo, firme levantado, se va a ir dando.
Time.
Y si no se quiebra él, tú menos. Vamos.
Jarry's certainly going to look back at 2023 with a great deal of gratitude and pleasure in terms of what he invested in it and what he got out of it with those titles, with a career high ranking. And he'll be hoping for better things to come. He lost in the second round of the Aussie Open last year, so he has still got some considerable upside in terms of points to be won there before he heads back onto the South American clay court swing.
Fifteen.
Swing where he saw him start off impressively, particularly in Rio as a qualifier, made it through to the semi-finals, lost to Alcaraz in Brazil. Incidentally, Pavel Kotov, the only qualifier last, or I should say still, for another day this year, to have made it through to a final of an ATP tournament last year. That was in Stockholm, where he lost to Gael Monfils.
Game 10. Team Canada.
Back into this opening set, things getting a little easier for Diaz on serve. 5-all.
5 games. Steve.
I mean, he's got 5-all. He's had 2-second serves from Jarry, and he's missed both returns on the forehand side. You know, if you're lucky enough to get that 2-second serves, I mean, make him play. I don't know whether you step forward, maybe one step forward, or stay further back, but just get it in play. Make your opponent, it's an opportunity for him. Because when that first serve goes in, and the backup that Jarry has on both sides, you're going to be in trouble. That's a big opportunity to miss those first 2 points.
Game Team Chile.
And they're missing them. Makes life very easy for Jarry. 6-5.
Team Chile leads 6 games to 5.
I think just on those 2 returns, those 2-second serve returns, it goes back a bit to what we were talking about last night. You know, the ability just to block the ball. He stood up, he took 2 big cuts, mistimed it. He has a pretty severe Western grip when he returns. So the idea that he might just play a forehand block or a forehand chip is probably not on with that grip. So once again, just the versatility for some of these players in big moments, just to have a few different options, not always there.
Right, or even maybe stay back a couple of feet and take a, you know, hit a normal forehand, take a cut at it and get some shape and start off the point. But like you said, he kind of sat in a spot where you're not in early, where you can just chip it back, and you kind of, I don't want to say no man's land, but he didn't really have a plan on those returns.
I just think that's a great dynamic. We're just seeing a few fans there waving the Canadian flag, and the Chilean crowd are here in force too. But just a great dynamic, having your grandfather in the box chatting to you during a significant match representing your country. Pretty unique.
Time.
Definitely a very proud day for the family.
And Diaz pushes into an opening set breaker.
effort from Diaz to stay in that point. There was all kind of firepower coming at him, but he held his ground. And on this one, just getting him to volley up. Jarry not getting down as well as he needed to on that one. A little upright, a little stiff on that volley.
Perhaps just losing the ball in the rafters up there and amongst the poles and the speakers and everything else. Was very conservative with the overhead. But again, you don't feel as though he has to risk as much as he has been in this opening set to get where he wants to get, which is putting this opening set in his pocket. Solid tennis will get him there.
Jarry's 20th unforced error in this set. A lot of unforced errors, considering he's 6-5 up. Jarry's a natural hitter of the ball. You always want your player to play his game. But one thing you'd say to him is, you know, just use 85% of that power you have, which is plenty, and let's go a meter inside on the lines, whichever way you choose to hit. Still continue to be aggressive and accelerate and hit the ball.
It's been interesting to watch Jarry's forehand courtside. Sometimes he's got the ball on the rise and you think that's the one he's going to flatten out, and he tries to play that with a bit of shape and it takes off on him. And a few times on the dropping ball with no pace, he's tried to flatten it out. So it's almost like he's not quite comfortable on the forehand side, although he's certainly got that one right. You sort of get the feeling, don't you, at 19 in the world with the pedigree that he's got, that this might be the time to strike.
Another easy unforced error on that forehand side, as you mentioned, Wally. But again, all credit to Diaz. He's been able to hang in there, serving at 5-6 with a point to take it to the tiebreaker.
Yes. Advantage, Team Chile.
And Monty's prediction may well come true here.
Where does he serve here?
He has been favouring that wide serve all match. I'm going to go with that one again. What a shame.
Just his second double of the match, but a very important one and an inopportune moment for Team Canada to deliver it. But Jarry delivers on the promise eventually that he was showing in a hard-fought opening set. They take it 7-5.
Era lo que César había anunciado. Muy bien.
And his last match coming against Bublik in the Paris Masters 1000, and perhaps just a little bit of rust at times for Nicolas Jarry out there against Diaz, trying to find his best tennis. And the opening set now nicely tucked away. Perhaps he'll enable himself to relax a little bit. And as Flip was saying, just an opening set that was littered with a few too many unforced errors that seemed at times unnecessary. And just trying to find the right gauge of shot that was going to determine the outcome in his favour, which ultimately came his way. Again, just proving your point, Flip, at the start of the match, that he was going to make some nice forays into the net, double the number from the Canadian.
Yeah, I mean, it was a tight set, a lot of unforced errors, a lot of winners from Jarry, but a lot more unforced errors than he would have liked. But at the end of the day, he got the job done, and that first set's under the belt. I think I see him running away with his second set, Edge, I think. Diaz doing a good job in this set. I mean, moving well. You know, he was solid when he needed to from the baseline. He held on to his serve, but put himself in a position to get to the tiebreak. And unfortunately, just, you know, giving out a couple of his own unforced errors in that last service game, and then finishing with a double fault. As you said, second one for the match. It costed him that first set. Nice sigh of relief there from Team Chile.
Second set, Team Chile to serve. Fifteen.
Great job.
15 over.
Very good.
superb.
This is great hands and anticipation from both guys, but especially Jarry there. Looking at his opponent, goes, did you see that?
Game team Chile.
And that's the real luxury that Jarry has as well over his opponent today, is that he can just reel through service games as swiftly as that and not have to invest too much mental energy into it.
Con la mente bien despejada, así como estuviste ahí. Buenísimo. El tipo va a seguir así, ¿eh? Es duro de matar.
That's just behind Jaime there is Nicolas's coach looking after him. For somebody like Diaz here, this is one of those awkward situations in tennis where there isn't really a plan B for the Canadian out here. He's got to hope that there's going to be a potential drop-off on the other side of the court. Done as much as he can to try and impact Jarry's play. He's been as durable as he can be out here.
If I'm being critical, you know, it's try and cut those unforced series down as much as possible. He doesn't have the firepower, so let's make sure you don't at least give out free points. You just can't afford to do that. There's just so much pressure on him constantly on his service games.
Flip, you probably never experienced it, but there's nothing worse than being on a tennis court and being a bit of a passenger. So we've spoken about what a great job that Diaz has done to be competitive in that first set, but he's really just reacting to everything that Jarry's throwing at him. And I tend to agree with you. I think Jarry might run away with this set. Find his range. Not yet.
Being a passenger in a match is my particular expertise here, Will.
Yeah, but you know that feeling where the other guy's
I know it well.
He's dictating and you're just reacting to everything that he's doing, whether it be the return of serve or in general rallies. But you know, Diaz did a great job of hanging onto his serve and being competitive, but I just can't see that continuing.
Matches, as you say, that Flip had or you did, Wally, but I remember once playing Becker on court 1 and at Wimbledon, and I'd been pretty friendly with Stefan Edberg for a number of years because he lived in London, of course, for a long time during the course of his illustrious playing career. And he said, you know, when you play Boris, he says, just try and get the return down low to his forehand volley. He says, doesn't have the greatest low forehand volley. He said, if you can direct your returns to that place, he says, you know, you're going to give yourself a chance. If Diaz keeps playing rallies like that, he's going to give himself a chance in this contest as well.
That'd feel good. He was on the front foot there, taking the ball on the rise, dictating. It's been few and far between. But, Petch, that sounds like a very definite place to return against a guy the quality of Becker's serve.
Well, that was what I was going to say. So 2 games in, I realised that Stefan played a completely different game than I did, because I was like, connecting with the return is
nice.
is the priority here. Directing it has got absolutely nothing to do with me.
Making contact.
Yeah. Ball, string, yeah, thumbs up. And it is at that level, it is so different. The level that you guys played at. The other bit of advice you once gave me as well was when I played Agassi at Key Biscayne when the tournament was held there. And he said to me, just be careful. He said he's got an amazing topspin lob. He says it's very difficult to see it coming. Opening service game, it's too straight over my head. I was wondering how disappointed he was in me.
Yes.
And one of the hardest things in this match at the moment is Diaz will be feeling that he is competitive, but it just may be a false competitiveness because of what's happening down the other end of the court. But if Jarry can find that consistency we've seen throughout the course of this system for the most part, this season for the most part, things could turn rapidly here.
Jarry having it open court and that forehand down the line, guessing nicely. Diaz, and again, hanging in, giving himself another opportunity to hold serve. I mean, he had no right to win that point, but came up with a win. Great scrappy play there.
Great movement from Jarry.
And what a slice for a big man to be pushed out wide and still having that racket head work to just chip it back low. And that movement, it's good moving for a big guy.
Yeah, we watched Zverev last night. Very similar, isn't it? 3 or 4 strides, and they just cover so much court. You think of someone like Diminar, who's like Motor Mouse, just wheels spinning. Jarry at 6'6", he just huge strides, but arrived on balance.
Advantage, Team Canada.
You know, these first matches are always, just get the cobwebs out. Still finding his rhythm out there. I'm not sure whether he could take the ball a touch early, or he's just going too much for the lines right now, but still finding his game. And then there's a point like that.
Yes.
That's big hitting.
Just watching Jarry here, as you said, Flip, it's a case of, yeah, do you just, hit aggressively, but hit, aggressively to safe parts of the court, or is he more of a mind, there's the United Cup, I'm going to play bigger matches upcoming, I've got the Australian Open just a few weeks away. I'm looking to find my best game. I'm not going to compromise.
That's one thing. I've watched quite a few matches of him this year, and one thing that I do love and respect about the way he plays, he'll miss some shots, but he'll continue to be aggressive. He won't doubt himself, especially on the big points. He'll go after his serve, he'll go after the forehand, after the backhand, and you know, that's a great sign to see. He definitely plays with confidence. He's going to miss shots. He's definitely missing more than normal, but he's going to continue to hit the ball.
Yes.
Long game, 8.5 minutes so far.
Advantage Team Canada. Yes. Advantage Team Canada. Game, Team Canada.
Very, very difficult game to get out of under pressure, having just dropped the opening set, but lovely court position on that final point.
Game.
Just enabled him to capitalize on a short ground stroke from Jarry. And over 10 minutes of hard work invested in that last game. Can he earn some interest in this returning one?
Hitting.
It's amazing the difference between service games and energy spent, and how comfortably Jarry's holding serve. It takes a toll. You're holding serve so comfortably, you can afford to take risks when you return a serve, I guess.
Game team clear.
Two very contrasting service holds. Over 10 minutes for this one, almost 11 minutes for Diaz, barely over a minute for Jarry. 2-1 second set.
Mantener en alto el espíritu, la cosa es así, tranquilo nomás. O sea, digo tranquilo, en el sentido de tener conciencia de tu empeño por hacer lo que estás haciendo, seguir con eso. Porque el muchacho este no está jugando al nivel de él. Y tú lo quieres arrollar. Y él nos está dejando arrollar. Eso te está sirviendo para los próximos partidos. Pero tenemos que ganar este. Así que es espectacular lo que está haciendo él. O sea, esto no pasa ni con Djokovic.
Dice tu abuelo que tú estés jugando bajo buenas posiciones y dominando, y el tío este juega también, que no te haga quitarte la visión del mérito tuyo, ¿sabes?
Guys, I speak a bit of Spanish. Do you want me to translate?
Yes, please.
Yes.
He just said, listen, if you don't lift your returning game, your grandmother's going to be bloody upset and you'll get the sharp edge of her tongue. Petch, going back to something you said earlier, and there he is just texting the grandmother. I think Jarry could just pummel the central corridor of the court. I think that'll get the job done. And then just settle into going for the wings once you've got a bit of your head on the scoreboard.
Yeah, I'm with you. Well, I think that's exactly where he can get a lot of work done. He's trying to help out his uncle. Don't know if that's an IT problem or there's some stats there that they're looking at.
Son cosas que hay que trabajar en el entrenamiento. Soltar.
.30, 50.
That one just missing, but I really like Diaz, what he did. Took the ball early on that downline forehand, moving in.
Came in from a little too deep there.
40, 30.
There's about 5% difference for Jarry in terms of return games won on a clay court, on a hard court. Much better on the clay. 20% of return games won. That's a decent number, down at 15 on the hard courts. And that's a number that's going to perhaps hold him back in making some deep runs at the 2 majors in Australia and at the US Open on the hard courts. His run he's made so far was at the French this year, 4th round, lost to Casper Ruud.
Game Team Canada. New balls,
But another
please.
leaked error off the forehand side from Jarry. Diaz will be very grateful to be at 2 apiece in this second set.
No están mal. Estás bien. Hay que seguir nomás. Que no te entre confusión en la cabeza.
The ball's coming out. New stick for Jarry.
Very generous shot clock there. Didn't start till he wandered out of the player area with his new racket.
Great first aggressive point.
Love 15.
That's one thing that's clearly working is he's moving forward nicely, and when he does, he's winning a lot of those points. I mean, he's moving forward once his opponent out of the court, but it's good that he's looking to create some pressure.
Still continues to be perfect in this second set when he's landed a first serve, Jarry. Diaz is going to have to push his risk profile a little bit rather than allow Jarry the opportunity to wail away on that kind of return. Percentage tennis may well keep him competitive out here, but I don't think it's going to allow him to claim the victory. he's going to have to figure out a way to try and just chisel out a couple of points against the first serve, which has been immaculate so far in this second set for Jarry. 3-2. Well, there's an awful lot to do apart from watching the tennis, and there are many swim spots, of course, in this beautiful island of Australia, particularly here in Sydney. Well over 100 beaches and swimming spots in the greater Sydney area. And of course, some of those pools alongside Bondi Icebergs and the Bronte Baths. The Harbourside pools at Missions Point, and places that Wally Masseur knows exceptionally well. Watamola Beach, Wally. Been out there a bit?
What's that one? That must be Central Coast. Not familiar with that one.
Okay.
But it looked very nice.
It looked very nice. It's been a sort of workman-like performance here, hasn't it, Wally, from Nicolas Jarry? Hasn't found that little spark that we've become accustomed to in 2023.
No, I think you're right. We're just looking for that extra dimension, but he hasn't found it. It's kind of been interesting, as I said before, just watching from the side. It seems like he's not comfortable with the pace of the court. Sometimes he's out in front of the ball. Sometimes he's got the dropping ball. He flattens that one out. The ball on the rise, where you think he's going to launch, he tries to give that a bit of lift and sends it long. So, yeah, he's just, whether it's his opponent, he's a little unsure. First match of the season, it's hard to say, but he's definitely not quite where he needs to be.
Felix signing a few autographs. Unfortunately, he's unable to put the racket in his hand and play competitively. Not a significant knee problem, as we're led to believe, but one that has kept him off, and there are still doubts surrounding whether he will actually take part in this year's United Cup.
Good.
That's the one you take all day, isn't it? Just crush it back at the server, up the corridor, hit the ball back where it came from, don't cut across the line of flight, keep it simple, and hit aggressively.
That's, of course, part of the very successful Canadian team of 2022, picking up the ATP Cup back then and Davis Cup. Fontang is long-time coach, still has his collaboration with Uncle Tony.
And that's the one I'm talking about. It was a slow ball. It's almost like either he's got to move a little more forward to it, or wait for it to come to him. He gets out in front of it, hooks it wide again.
Okay, well, Diaz is refusing to go away. Hanging in there. Giving himself another opportunity. 3-all.
was a repeatable pattern of play for Jarry.
40-13.
Didn't really flirt with the lines at all, just keeping his man well behind the baseline. Diaz cannot be dangerous from there. He's not a threat from there.
Game Team Canada.
Another gutsy hold from Diaz.
3 game zones.
I know there's not much you can do when you're playing someone who's 6'6" and he's got that serve, he's got that rhythm, and he's hitting his lines, and that first serve is going in, then he's got that ground strokes to back it up. But what would you guys like to see Diaz here try? Would it be standing somewhere different, further closer to the baseline, further back? I mean, in the perfect world, you know, for him to do something a little bit different, to try and get close to a break point opportunity where he can put some pressure on Jarry.
Kick him.
There's probably two ways to approach a returning game or philosophy, if you like, and that is to catch fire in one game, you know, play high risk, or to build pressure over time. Hasn't been able to build pressure over time. Maybe it's a case if you get a ball back into play, just take a chance, go for it. He's fighting hard to hold serve and keep that scoreboard pressure. Maybe he's just got to up the ante if he does make the return.
That's the area that I think he needs to do something a little bit different on. What is he now? 14 out of 19 points, 1 on his second serve for Jarry. So just 5 nicked off him by Diaz. I mean, there's a great example of maybe in the modern game where, you know, obviously back in the day there was chip charge, but these days maybe more crush and rush. Take a little bit of a chance on Jarry's second serve. Just try and implant something in his mind that you're going to do something to try and take it away, because, as you said, Flip, very difficult to do something when somebody's serving as big as Jarry does off the first serve. But the second serve, you can potentially do something. And if you do something on the second serve, that has a consequence of potentially upsetting the rhythm on the first, because you suddenly feel a little bit more pressure to make sure of the first serve. So that's an area that perhaps Canada can build on. But Jarry, a set and 4-3 to the good. And you look at the match in totality in terms of points lost behind serve, and that's just 8 points that he's lost behind his serve, Jarry. So Diaz making absolutely no impression whatsoever.
Ya no es sorpresa que el otro está. Que ya no es sorpresa que el otro está muy bien.
No, está.
Es todo de punto honor y de seguir luchando y con esa actitud y buscando, insistir.
No hay que cuestionar.
Nada.
Firme, más levantado, más uplift, y más rápido recuperar.
Debajo del trabajo de tiempo, respiración, adecuada.
Time.
No doubt about it. There's nothing like a team competition to get the fans engaged. No doubt that Jarry has had a big impact back at home in terms of the focus on tennis once again. It gives those fans that come out here into the Ken Rosewall Arena a real reason to get behind their players. Shamastin, who went to Brown University, just in front of Felix Auger-Aliassime, the Canadian team captain for this week. 3 doubles titles in his career on the tour.
Again,
you just question a little bit the logic of going as big and as hard as Jarry is at the moment. Forehand, backhand winners total for Diaz in this match. 1. It's not as though he's getting beaten hands down that he needs to take the racket out of his opponent's hand.
Fortilo. (40-15).
The other thing I'd like to see Jarry do is a little bit of the crush and rush himself. He's also going to be somebody that's going to be facing the likes of Djokovic, and he's going to have to try and find a way to insert himself in the return games. He's going to do nicely on his own serve, but he's got to put a bit of threat into those top players. Not able to sear shots like that through the defences of them, he's going to have to try and do something a little bit different. Today would be a good opportunity just to explore that particular avenue. This, though, is one of the sweetest forehand winners he's hit today. His 10th of the match.
Yes.
Certainly didn't wait for that ball to come to him on the forehand side. Then Jarry, a couple of quick little steps on the forehand, took it on the rise nicely, and there's that move forward. Maybe he's used to a little more pace coming onto his racket, Jarry, to create his own.
Advantage, Team Canada. Game, Team Canada.
Well, your trend is your friend, and the trend has been hard-fought service holds for Diaz for the majority of this match, and that continues.
Here you go, buddy. This game, huh?
Aggressive with control, man. Every chance you get, try to go at him. Come on, man.
Play to win.
Just gotta go get it, man. Come on.
Love 50.
Come on, come on.
Actually interesting to hear Felix say that, isn't it? There's such an overriding feeling in tennis that you've got to get after somebody, you've got to be aggressive, you've got to take their time away. Constantly we hear that kind of narrative in it, but actually if you look at the way that Diaz has been staying in this match, is because he's been outlasting Jarry and actually waiting for errors from him. I'm not entirely sure I agree with Felix that he wants to get after him. Hit the ball solidly to big targets, yes, but don't make errors.
I couldn't agree more, Patch. That's not where his game lies, to be aggressive. You know, it's movement, getting the ball back in play, being solid, and if he has an opportunity, look to move forward and get it to the net. But that one, like I said, pulled the trigger too early, and there was an opportunity for him at love 15.
Absolutely. Scoreboard pressure, 4-all late in a set. That goes back through the middle of the court. Jarry doesn't want to play too many ground strokes. Because you've got to capitalise on those moments when you're playing a big server, because there's always one of those lurking around the corner.
And there it is, you blink and it's 40-15.
It was a little similar last night, wasn't it? Sanago playing some beautiful tennis up a set, and he was on serve in the second early on. Love 30 on Zverev's serve, couldn't quite capitalise on those little moments that he had there, and you could just feel the match pivot at that moment, and it did. Pinpoint accuracy on the pass.
You pointed on that before, Patch. You serve and volley. That was a nice serve out wide, but it was a big serve, 190 kilometers an hour out wide, and didn't have that swing on it. Diaz doing good to block that back and giving himself a chance, and a beautiful passing shot down the line.
Game, Team Chile.
Sends his opponent the wrong way, does Jarry, but the scoreboard absolutely the right way as far as he's concerned. 5-4, second set, Team Chile.
Se entiende que esté choreado, se entiende que esté choreado, así que tranquilo. Tener confianza que el cuerpo tiene todavía. Lo quiere guardar, pero lo tiene. Muy bien.
Time.
First couple of points here are going to be absolutely huge for Diaz. There's an expectancy, there is an almost certainty surrounding that team bench there that he is going to strike as he walks out. He's purposeful. He hasn't been as precise as he would like to be off the ground in this match to this stage, but he found it at the right time in the opening set. And will it be deja vu here for Nicolas Jarry? Diaz will be hoping that that isn't the case.
It's a nice pop in that serve, 213 kilometers an hour down the tee.
Definitely looks better on that forehand when he plays it with intent. He finished past the point of contact there, so there was no hesitation whatsoever. Didn't wait for the ball to come to him. He just moves right through that. I'm not sure I believe that was 213, that previous one. Jarry served a few bombs at 200, and that was 213.
You're just jealous.
Yeah.
I think it's stuck at 213
I think
from Jarry's last serve in the game.
Well, Pet's been talking about it, just a little bit more measured there from Jarry. Didn't take anything on necessarily, just drew the error with weight of shot. The scoreboard's stuck. Speed gunner's stuck. I'm stuck.
You're never stuck. Getting a little sticky for Diaz here, though. Simple and efficient, irresistible combination.
Yeah, not even close to them. They were 2 meters inside the line on every one of those strokes, and still Diaz was flat-footed. Didn't know where he was going. Wasn't even close to moving to that ball. Just shows the power that Jarry has.
Couple of match points. And there it is. Gorgeous finish to the match from Nicolas Jarry. Keeps Team Chile in this particular contest, having lost the opening match. And it was hard fought, and he had to go the long scenic route, but it's a nice view at the end, and he will be delighted with the win. There'll be better performances from Jarry over the course of the upcoming 12 months, but that was valuable.
Yeah, I mean, did what he had to do in his service games, wasn't close to being broken, never under pressure once. And that last game was really very well controlled. almost a 3/4 pace and plenty. And, you know, end of the day, more unforced series that he wanted, but got the job done.
Yeah, you always felt like he was in control. There was moments in the match where, as you say, Flip, he looked as though he was going to run right. Never quite happened for him. And there's a real art form in tennis, is to win tennis matches by making your opponent miss. And maybe that will be the one thing, the one last piece of the jigsaw puzzle that Jarry needs to figure out this year if he's going to get himself into the world's top 10. He's taken a huge stride inside the world's top 20, of course, in the last 12 months. And he's going to have to cover another significant bit of distance as well, and arguably even tougher than what he's managed to achieve so far.
I couldn't agree more, but I think it's, he's got the game, he's got the firepower. It's definitely going to come down to consistency, especially against those top players if he wants to get close to that top 10.
Good effort from Steven Diez. It's been a long time, as we were saying, since 2020, since he's even had a top 100 win. He's never beaten a player inside the world's top 50. Just a couple of wins on the tour. One of those a retirement as well, but he acquitted himself well. And maybe that bodes well for him as well in terms of where he sits in the rankings at the moment, outside the world's top 300. Maybe better days ahead for the Canadian. Better days potentially ahead for Team Chile, and as they turn to try and recover the scoreline here, and Wally is with Nicolas.
Well, Nicolas, congratulations. Maybe not the opponent you expected, but a very, very tough match.
Yeah, for sure. Steven is a grinder, very tough opponent to kill, and it's the first match of the year, so it was tough, and I'm happy to be able to be here competing and getting some real matches, real points in this great atmosphere and this great tournament. Helps a lot since it's not the typical tournament to start a tournament. It's a team, so it's a little bit less stressful. So very happy to be here.
Yeah, and obviously you've made it 1-1 now, so that's a big effort. But it seemed like, you talk about the first match of the season, it seemed like you were just trying to find the balance between power and control. You certainly got it right in the final game, but still striving to find your best form.
Yeah, for sure. With all the preseason weight on me, I still need to get loose. Still a couple of days from the jet lag. So you just have to be mentally very calm and use it as a tougher match mentally, and to try to get the everything working out little by little without being so stressed. It's a different match, but it's the same. You have to be focused on the same thing. So at the end, I play very well, and I have to keep maintaining that level.
Great story, having your grandfather as the team captain. How was that dynamic? I mean, pretty hard to argue with your grandfather.
No, impossible. It's very nice to be here with him. Very special for him as well, for the family. It's, yeah, as I'd say, it's special. So hopefully we can get more matches, and I've been, every inside the court and outside the court, trying to enjoy as much as possible.
More matches, of course, now the mixed doubles to decide the tie. How's your mixed doubles form? Played much?
Yeah, I won. I've done quite good results in mixed doubles, so hopefully we can translate that and keep going.
I'm sure the Chilean fans will be happy. Well done today, and good luck for the next match.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
Once again, another match that's going to go and be decided by the mixed doubles, and that has been a huge enhancement in this particular tournament, that we're getting results every single session, and it's also bringing into sharp focus, Mark, how important the mixed doubles is in these team events.
Yeah, another live tie coming down to the mix, which is very exciting for everybody involved. As far as the crowd, I'm looking forward to this mixed doubles. Again, that first match, as you mentioned, is always tough coming out. And you're representing your country, especially when you're one match down, you want to try and get him on the board. But he did exactly what he had to do. He got the win, and he's looking forward to the mixed doubles.
Chilean fans will be hoping that they won't be just coming back for the mix, but for the other matches as they maybe potentially make a deep run. That was an important win, and arguably the biggest difference when you look at those numbers, apart from the serve, which was always going to be a big difference, the forehand winners. Oh, without a doubt, the forehand winners. Again, you know, it's a lot of unforced series for 2 sets for someone to have won 7-5, 6-4, but got the job done. That just shows how dominant he was on his service games. Again, never under any kind of pressure, and definitely going for more on the return of serve, but got the job done at the end of the day. Yep. There's a lot to enjoy about Nicolas Jarry's game. It has been producing the results over this particular season, and he's going to go on to even better things, you think. And he'll be looking to try and hit the ground running as he continues through this particular event and for the rest of the Australian summer, which we always look forward to. Still, the mixed doubles to come here in Sydney, and that's not that far away now.